Hi, my beautiful brothers and sisters. This is Mary Hernandez with part 2 of The Holy Grail is actually a womanhood, which represents the uterus of a woman, which is the royal bloodline. This starts with Mother God, Holy Mary, Mother of God, Mary Magdalene, and then the daughters. So it goes, she did, Mother God, her daughters. She had daughters. You know, they never wanted to say it. They said, oh, no, there was daughters that she had. But it was like hush-hush, right? The reason why it was hush-hush, it was because they wanted it for you to continue thinking that it is a brotherhood. It's a man's covenant, a blood covenant. A blood covenant is Satan covenant. And you know what? She just gave me the revelation because like it's kind of like a tug of war. Where they still want you to believe that a man was in there. It was a man. It was always a woman Messiah. That's what they had put in the books. Even a woman cannot preach. And I'm going to tell you something. When I did the 7 churches that were going against, this is the churches that are going against the daughters. Not just me, but the daughters, because we're the royal bloodline. All 144,000 that they don't want you to know that. And that's why they caused the division. If Jesus was the true bloodline, and I'm going to say it this is, if Christ was, if the men were, right? Why do they try to hide it so much? Why do they try to cover it up? They could say, no, these are, the bloodline, they're with me. They don't, because they don't want you to step into who you are. 2, we're the biggest threat to the Roman Catholics. So no matter what, they don't want you to see it as it's you, because that would destroy the whole way the whole world has always seen it as a man. And it is a woman. It's a woman's covenant. Holy Mary, Mother of God. And then she produced the daughters. And then you go. But it's hush, hush. They didn't want that. So if it had been, trust me, they wouldn't be idolizing Jesus. They wouldn't be idolizing Mary, the one that they picked as Mary. That's who they picked. That's who they idolize. That's how they do saints. That's how they believe they even have a Veronica, which I never even heard of a Veronica. Saint Michael, the Archangel, they made that. That prayer is from a Catholic church. If they were, which is the Roman Empire that hates us so much, if it was so, they would not be idolizing it, because they don't idolize who the real creator is. They make themselves God. They make them gods. Everyone that they sit there and they worship, I think I've heard them even, they worship Fatima. And because I told you when God put me, I would go into the churches. Like she had me going in. I did what the Holy Spirit had said. And Fatima is who they also look up to. I showed you guys the Mother Cabrini. That's who they make idols. D'Angelo, Donatello, all these are idols that the Roman Catholics, that's who they idolize. If it had been that Jesus is a royal bloodline, that he is, they wouldn't be idolizing, because they idolize themselves. They idolize who they make their gods, their saints. That's who they idolize. And that is how men work. That's why you don't matter. That's why I don't matter to them. You don't matter, because no, it's not you. It's us. It's who we pick. That's who we idolize. Either you're with us or you're not. That's what it is. So with that being said, with the Holy Grail, which is actually a woman's covet, the royal bloodline, it's the daughters. And those 144,000 that the mother's bringing back to take territory, what was always yours, always. That's why if she removes somebody from you, please let her. Let her. And what is meant to be is going to be with you when this road gets healed. They're going to be healed like that. And it tells you in the Bible verse, you're going to be without a prince for a minute. We have somebody that's in the side of us. Yes, we do. But at that time, that right now they're working in darkness. Some of them are being used as vessels. Some don't even know. Some of these are even as daughters are being used and don't even know. When we're sinning and functioning in the things of the world, it almost hits us, but not all the way. Come on. Wake up. Wake up. So I entered chalice because it also said it in there. So I entered and you also got to use your discernment because they try to use even some names, but they have meaning. And I'm going to put this. They try to make it look like it's an object. It actually says an object, but as a woman named Adaha. But I did the meaning of it. And I don't remember what it is, but I don't want to get off subject, but I'll do it right before this is over. But the Holy Grail is a uterus. It's a woman. It's a womanhood. It's a woman's covet. Without you, you're the one that birthed kings and queens. Not the man. It's you. It says they concluded that the legendary Holy Grail stimulates the womb of Mary Magdalene, the scared royal bloodline that she gave birth to. So it's giving birth, right? And then it says why the legend claims Mary Magdalene has transported the actual chalice, and they force another to insist that Mary's body was also a sacred vessel carrying sangreal, scared blood, contributing the bloodline of Christ, in other words, which was literally the Holy Grail. It's a woman. And they make it sound like the cup. Remember, this is the cup. This is what will be given up for you. No, there is no such cup. It's not an object. It's the woman's uterus. It's you, the bloodline, the daughters, all 144,000. There is nothing without you. Understand that. It's a king. Woman is always one being, but that's why they want to keep it hush hush. And I'll point that out also in there. And I'm going to read a couple of the Bible verses and I also copy pasted in the other, but let me read those to you. It actually brought me to Deuteronomy 32:18. I was going to read further up and read it, but I'm actually going to go just with 32:18, which is a lot of them are beautiful. She's speaking and she said, of the rock that began thee, the unmindful has forgotten the God that formed thee. It says, of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful and has forgotten the God that formed thee. And the Lord saw it and abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them, and I will see their end. They shall be, but everyone forward in this generation's children in whom is no faith. So it says that they have moved me to jealousy, which is not of God. They provoke me to anger with their vanities, that I will move them to jealousy with those who are not a people, and they will provoke them to anger, you foolish nation. And this is her speaking to the daughters and to the sons as well. Like, woe to you. She was angry, all of us, because I was out there as well. And then it brought me to Isaiah 66. There. Sorry about that I had it ready. Isaiah 66:13. She says, as one who his mother comforted, so will I comfort you, and you shall be comforted in Jerusalem. Right? And that's all it has, 13. And then brings me to Isaiah 49:15. Isaiah 49:15. It says, but Zion said, the Lord has forsaken me. Oh, my Lord has forgotten me. Can a woman, she says back, can a woman forget her suckling child, that she would not have compassion on a son of her womb? Do you see how it's saying Zion? And we all know that Zion's the daughter, that dominion is going to be restored back to her kinship. And this is her. But do you see how little bit it tainted it? Did she have sons and daughters? Yes, but the firstborn were daughters. It says, it says, and she should not have compassion on the sons of her womb. It says, is she not going to? It says, behold, I have graven thee upon my hands, and the walls continually before me. Thy children make haste, and the destroyers that they make thee waste, they shall go forth in thee. Lift up the eyes round about, and behold, gather themselves together, and say thee, as thou livest, saith the Lord, I shall surely clothe thee with them, and with all the ornaments and birds, and thee as the bride doeth. For the waste of the desolate shall be even as the gnarl by the reason of the inhabitations. They swallow thee up and be far away. The children that thou hast had, after thou hast lost others, shall say again in thine ears, they should take place straight, and give me a place that I may dwell. Thou shalt say in thine heart, begotten me, that thou that seest the children, that I am desolate, captives, and removed from 2 and 4. Who has brought thee up? Behold, I have left alone this that they had been. And then it goes on and on and on. But it's just her saying, how can I have forgotten thee? But she turned her back because we were all sinning. And all she was doing, either she sent a prophet in there, or rather, once I was healed, now she said, now you go preach to them and bring them back, pray over them. Because it's somebody that got healed and had purified herself by the cleansing and the washing of the word of the Bible. I was reborn again, and I got baptized again. It was just amazing, amazing. You know, 20. There we go. Sorry, I have to note them. So when I go to post them on there, and then you could as well, 49. Then it took me to Isaiah 42:14. 42. It says, I will lay waste Okay, 13. I'm going to start off in 13. 42 to 13. The Lord shall go forth as a mighty man, that he shall stir up the jealousy like a man of war, and shall cry ye and roll like they shall prevail against his enemies. I have long time holden my peace, and I have been still and refrained myself, and now I cry like a travailing woman. Do you see how she said, I'm going to put war, and they put he, and then it goes, so she's saying, I said, come on. It says, I have kept quiet for a long time, but I'm not keeping quiet no more. She said, now I will cry to thee as a travailing woman. I will destroy and devour at once. I will make the waste mountain and the hills dried up in the herbs, and I will make the rivers islands, and I will drive out the pools. And this is Isaiah 42:14. And I'm going to put, so you could understand what you see from it goes from he to she, but it's she. 13 to 15. And then it brings me to Psalms 131. And this is the Bible verses that was referring, so you could look back. And it says the mother hen. And I posted that in the description as well, so you could read it. And then some I was able to copy paste the Bible verses, and then some I was able to note it for you. But Matthew 20, I'm sorry, it actually brings me first to Psalms 131:2. Surely I have behaved quiet myself as a child that I had winged of his mother. My soul is even as a winged child. Let Israel hope in the Lord, and henceforth, forever and ever. You know, Psalms, that's 131, 1 and 2. I mean, it's actually, it says 2 and 3. 2 and 3. And then it said mother hen, Matthew 23:37. Matthew 23:37. She says, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you who kill the prophets and stone those that send to you, how often have I longed to gather your children together as the hen gathers her chicks under her wings, and you're not willing. Look to your house, look to your left, you're desolate. And I would tell you, this is that not see again until you say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. And if you remember in Micah 4, where she's saying the dominion will be restored to the daughter Zion, the daughter of Jerusalem. And she says, your mother might have forgotten you, daughter. She's telling Zion, your daughter might have forgotten you. Your dad might have forgotten you. But she says, I haven't. The maker, because at the end we come from her. You know, it's the same soul, but we're born again and born again. And I know by now you know, because we've been here from Genesis all the way down to Revelation, where we're in Revelation end times. So there is a life after death, and how you live your life now will affect a lot of the afterlife. And people don't think so. I think you're buried. They said, no, wrong, so wrong. I don't know if you ever seen that movie Ghost. Let that kind of sink in a little. But it's just baby steps as well. But I think pretty much all of you know by now what's going on. The last to wrap it up is actually, for this one, is 13. Luke. Whoa. Luke 13:34. O Jerusalem, which killed the prophets. Oh, yeah. It's on Matthew 23. Sorry. She says, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, which killed the prophets, stoned is them that sent them off, and that I would gather thy children as the hen doeth her brood under her wings, and ye will not. Behold, your house is left in your desolate. Verily I say unto you, you shall not see me until the time has come. You know, like she wouldn't do it. She forgot her daughters, but she's saying, I haven't. You know, she said, how are you doing this? You know? And I know it's probably too much to take in, but, you know, you could call it almost like bittersweet, you know, because it has victory at the end. And then we're overcomers, we're conquerors, we're victorious because of our mother God. If she wasn't real, if all of you that have been through hell and back, brothers and sisters to you that didn't sell out to the darkness, by now you would have known that we shouldn't be here. And we're blessed that we are. And that's why at times I have my moments that I talk to her and I cry and I thank her for every breath that I take, for every breath that my children and my grandbabies take, because if it wasn't for her, if she wasn't real, we would not be here. And I think by now you know exactly what I mean. You know, we had a kingdom of darkness that wanted to take down this bloodline out. But because the creator is real, that's why they weren't able to conquer and take us down. So the last, just to remind you what it says about Mother God, that it's mother. You know, do we have kings out? The kings were born too. I don't know to what extent, other than what the Bible says about some of them that sold out. I know that it tells you that Abraham and Isaac didn't make it because they never made it out of there because they sold out to the darkness. So it brings me to 8. And then it has Proverbs 8. Doeth not wisdom cry, and her understanding putteth forth her voice? She standeth on the top of the high places, on the way of the places of the path. She cried at the gates of the entering of the city, coming in at the doors. Unto you, O man, I call, my voice is the Son of Man. O you simple, understand wisdom. You fools, by ye of an understanding heart. Herefore I will speak excellent things, and opening my lips, they shall be the right things. For my mouth shall speak the truth, and the wickedness is in the abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are righteousness, and there's nothing forward to preserve in them. And all the plain in him that understandeth the right to them, to find knowledge, receive my instructions, and not silver, knowledge rather than choose gold. For wisdom is better than rubies. All the things that can desire, they cannot compare to it. I, wisdom, dwell in the prudence, and find knowledge of the witty inventions. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, and pride and arrogancy, and the evil that forward out of thy mouth do I hate. Counsel is mine, and sound of wisdom my understanding, that I have strength. Be me kings reign, and prince decrees justice. By me prince rule, and nobles, even the judges of the earth. She said, who do you think controls that? The woman. She said, I do. She said, who do you think? It says that by me kings reign, and prince decree justice. By me prince rules, and nobles, even the judges of the earth. I love them that love me, and those that seek me eagerly shall find me. Riches and honor are with me, and durable riches are righteousness. My fruit is better than gold, and yes, fine gold. My revenue is a choice of silver. I led in the way of righteousness in the midst of the path of judgment, that I may cause those that I love me to inherit substance, that I will flee their treasures, and the Lord possesses me at the beginning of this way before the works of the old. The agent, that's what it says. The Lord possesses me in the beginning of his ways before his works of old, but it's her. I was set up in everlasting from the beginning, or even to the earth was. It says, where there was no depths, I was brought forth. Where there was no fountains abounding the water, before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth. While as yet he that had not made earth in the fields, but neither the highest port of dust of the world, that he prepared the heavens, that I was there. He set and compassed upon the face of the death, but he establishes the clouds above, and he straightened the fountains of deep. When he gave the sea his decree, the waters they should not pass his commandment. When they appointed the foundations of the earth, when I was by him as one that brought him up, was a daily as the delight, rejoicing always before him. It's her, our mother. Rejoicing in habitable parts of the earth, my delights were with the Son of Man. But now therefore hearken unto me, O you children. For blessed are they that keep my ways, that heareth instructions, be wise, and refuse it not. Blessed is the man that heareth me, watcheth the daily of my gates, waiting for the post of my doors. But whosoever findeth me findeth life, and shall obtain favor for the Lord. But he that sinneth against me, wrong his own soul, and they will hate me. It says, and all that hate. It says, and all that hate me love death. Wisdom had built her house. She held out her 7 pillars. Those are the 7 daughters, 7 pillars. She had killed her beast. She had mingled her wine. I was out there. What did I say? I was out there. Now I got saved. Now, as she said, they're studying. Now preach and tell the daughters it's a woman's covenant. They're the royal bloodline. They're the royalty that come. She said, those are my daughters. That's what she's using me to bring you back home, to bring you into the land of the living. She's the God of the living, not the God of the dead. However, she owns it. She's in the valley. She's everywhere. And I'm going to tell you something that I have said before. You know, it's like you choose life or death, right? We do. It's either hell or heaven. You know, as a daughter of the Most High God, I'm going to tell you something. There's only one way in life, and that is heaven. That is our creator. That is focusing your life in your afterlife as well. Like, you want to leave a memory. You're the woman in the mirror. You're the man in the mirror. Remember I told you guys before? You know, live a memory, live a legacy of something, even if it didn't matter to the whole world, but you mattered to one person that was next to you. Don't live that same man. That woman was bitter. That man was bitter. That man was angry. That's the way of the world. That's not the way of who you are and who you were created to be before life tainted us. You know, the enemy wants you to think you have 2 ways. The enemy does. And I was woe to me for saying that before, because I was like, well, you choose, you know? Well, no, I want you to choose life. I want you to choose a life after death. I want you to live forever after, whether it's celestial beings or in the spirit, and an afterlife there is. You know, I don't want you to think that there is a pathway to hell. There is hell, but I don't want you to say, well, you have a choice. No, sin is going to send you to hell, period. Nothing more. You are sitting there seeking, doing tarot cards, readings, contacting the dead. Hello, you became an enemy of the Lord that you did. She's not with you. She's not with you anymore. She left you. The minute you decided to go serve darkness, she left you. She turned her back on you because you did it. She said, hey, you decided who you're serving, but I don't want you to serve that. I don't want you to think you have two ways in life. There is no other way but God's way. And that's because you mattered to her. So she wants you to see it. Is there hell? Yes. Is there a demonic world? Yes, there is. But I don't want you to live as if you're going to sit there and live so you could die and just give up on life and say, that's it. That's how my destiny is going to be. An eternal lake of fire. So now it brought me to Proverbs 9. Wisdom had built her house. She had held her own 7 pillars. She had killed her beast, and she had mingled her wine, that she had also furnished her table. She sent forth her maiden. She cried upon the highest places of the city. Whoso is simple, let him turn hither. But as for me that wanted understanding, she said to him, come and eat of my bread and drink of the wine that I have mingled. Forsake the foolish and live, and go on the way of understanding. He that reproveth a scorner getteth to himself shame, but he that rebuke a wicked man getteth himself a blot, right? Reprove not a scorner, at least he hateth thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. Give instructions to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach teach a just man, and he will increase in the learning. Fear the Lord, that it is the beginning of wisdom. The enemies believe, they tremble. And the knowledge of the holy is understanding. It says, for by me thy days shall be multiplied, and the years of thy life will be increased. But if thou be wise, thou shalt be wise for thyself. But if thou scornest, you alone shall bear it. A foolish woman is a clamorous, but she is simple and knoweth nothing. But she that sitteth at the door of her house and sitteth in high places in the city, to call the passengers to go right in their ways. And I want you to go right. I don't want you to. Is sin's going to send you to hell? Absolutely. Right now you're having someone saying, God, listen to me. God, it's in my prayer. They do. She sends you people. Sometimes it's even our own family, and we push them away. Sometimes it's even landlords. She was sending a landlord to me, and I was hiding from her. Go to church, pick up the Bible. I was hiding from her. I haven't gotten high today. I ain't going to go. I was looking to get that fixed before I even walked out the door to even go and serve the Maker and go hear his word, that he was using her to detour me where I needed to get detoured. But I was so lost. I was lost by my divorce, lost at my family problems, issue in life, money problems, working, not enough work, you name it. It was ranked up, and I took it, and I was getting high. I didn't care in the world. That's what I was looking for. That's what the enemy wants you to think, that that's it. And then we settle. Never in my life have I ever settled. Have I ever stopped? I always a go-getter, always has been and always will be. And yet for the first time in my life, I was like, man, I'm not going to go. I'm going to get high first. And she took it all away. It was her. They might think it was the enemy. She already knew what was going to happen. She took it all away, and she took my kids. It's the enemy. Everything was happening. She let it, but there was a purpose behind it. Everything was a platform. Everything was a platform from the beginning. Now, I'm going to close it up. I think it's going to finish here in about a minute. Foolish woman are clamorous. She's simple and knoweth nothing. For she sitteth at the door of his house and sit in high places in the city, to call passengers to the right ways. Whosoever is simple, let him turn in hither. But as for them that wanted understanding, she said to him, stolen waters and sweet and bread, eaten in secret, is pleasant. But whoever knoweth not the dead are there, and her that is the guest is also the death of hell. Which way? This is basically saying, I don't want you to go that way. Live, and live for Christ. Live for yourself, for our Maker, Yahweh, that she loves you. I love you, Godmother. This is our Mother God. And then the daughters, and then you get the kings as well. Pick up the Bible, study it, continue reading something. Look up that information. It's amazing revelation. Baby steps and continue.